Hello everyone, and welcome to our first Taskmaster VR live stream. Hopefully you guys can hear us right now. We are live right now from the Scallywag Arcade offices in Liverpool on this lovely Thursday afternoon. In front of you right now, we have the excellent Greg and Alex. Only they're not Greg and Alex, it's actually Niall and Faye who will be answering all of your questions you have sent in over the last few months. Say hi and wave, Niall and Faye.
Hi folks, hello.
Hello guys!
Yay! Lots of claps and applause and everything, crowds. So my name is Declan, and I'll be, over voice, I'll be asking these two amazing people as many Taskmaster VR questions as I can in the time that we have. So the questions will be a lovely combination of ones that we've sent in on our socials, email to us, and ones that we can answer from the chat as well. Can you guys all hear us? Is it all working? Is the audio okay? Let us know. And then Niall and Faye say hello for a couple of seconds and see if it's working.
Hey everyone, can you hear us all good? All loud and clear?
Everything's going well.
We've enjoyed watching the chat while we've been waiting to start.
I had that mask on for a long, long time.
I've been wearing it all day.
I think the power's gone straight to Niall's head.
It's little Niall and Faye, yeah.
I'm liking that. I'll have that one.
So as a quick word of warning, we're not going to be spoiling any of the tasks in the game, in this broadcast, so don't worry about that. But we will be showing large parts of the house and some great Taskmaster references. So if you want to say completely spoiler-free, it's probably best to go wishlist the game and then watch the VOD of this stream after you finish the game and enjoyed it, in its entirety. We'll also be giving away some copies of Taskmaster VR today as well, so make sure to listen out for those. Alrighty, enough of me rambling on. I'm not the star of the show, it's Niall and Faye today. So, Niall and Faye, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got work into game development and working on this amazing project?
1000%. So, I'm Faye. I am production assistant and I'm also QA lead on Taskmaster VR. This is my first ever game that I've ever been involved with producing and developing, and it's been such a wild ride. It's been great, and yeah, it's just been basically a huge learning curve for me, and it's been great to be involved with the team, and especially Niall.
Well, thanks very much, Faye. Yeah, so I'm Niall. A lot of you will know me already from Discord. I'm the one that answers all your questions. I'm head of games at Scallywag Arcade, which essentially means anything to do with publishing, just overseeing all the people who do the actual work, the hard part. And then, I've been in games just over 10 years now. We don't have to go into my history, but Taskmaster is my dream project, and I can't wait for you folks to play it in, a week now?
A week.
A week.
Oh, it's going to be a very, very, very long week, but I'm so excited to show everyone just what we've created. Yeah.
Well, I'd say, for those that aren't familiar with Taskmaster, let's just run our first trailer for you guys. If you haven't seen it, let's check it out.
Taskmaster VR.
Wishlist now,
Please.
please.
Alrighty, okay. That is the trailer, the original first trailer we released about the game. So I guess it's up to you guys. Tell us a bit about Taskmaster VR. What is the game about? How does it work and play?
Feels strange, really, to watch that trailer.
Now that we've been involved in it so much and we've practically lived it for like the past how many years. Yeah, it is strange to just see it and kind of look at it from our point of view because we've seen so much of it. But if you want to kind of boil down what it is and what we've done with it, Niall basically summed it up pretty well when we started doing it, when you were like, everyone wants to be on
Thank you very
Taskmaster.
much.
Everyone wants to be on Taskmaster. Why not give the people the choice to be on Taskmaster and a chance? And that is essentially what it is. You are subject to Alex and Greg and a bunch of tasks, and they're going to judge you as best they can.
Yeah, so roughly, it is a game. There's two halves to the game. So we have what we call series play. So you will get to go through a series of episodes of the show, where you'll flick between the backstage, the studio, the house, and do tasks to the best of your ability. And then Greg and Alex will judge you, and at the end, maybe you'll win a trophy. If you've watched Taskmaster, you know how it works, but the tasks, for those who may not have done, they're very silly, very tricksy.
Yes, very sly.
Lots of red herrings and
Yes.
playful little bits.
Creative.
Yeah,
Creative.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
And then the other half of the game, of course, is where we sort of get more into our community-led side of things, and this is where we'd like to continue to grow, is creative modes, which you can see a little bit of footage on in the stream right now. So creative mode allows you to spawn items, build your own tasks, set them up, and then challenge your friends locally on the headset. Although we are very excited to continue to grow this feature and work with community and creators to, enhance ways of sharing and add new things to do. We've got a lot to talk about that, but yeah, that's the game.
Fantastic, amazing. And so, how long has this game been in development?
Been about 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's from initial starting research and ideation, about 2 years. Yeah, you can actually, if you want to know exactly when it started, Dara O'Brien accidentally announced it in a prize task, which is my favourite story. We'd just signed the contract. We'd gone to watch that episode be filmed.
Oh, yeah, you started to
Dara O'Brien brought the Taskmaster, the video game, to a prize task. And if you listen really carefully on the episode, you can hear about 15 game developers in the back row gasp in horror. It was a fantastic day. Yeah, loved that.
Amazing, amazing. And so, how did it start? Did Alex approach us, or was it the other way around? How did that whole process work?
It was a little like, the thing about things like this, in big tech and all that kind of stuff, it's never simple. So we began talking to Avalon, who are the production company behind Taskmaster, and the Taskmaster team, because we'd been introduced to them. We knew Alex is a big VR fan and was really interested in exploring new ways of working with Taskmaster. And we got to know each other. They felt us out a little bit, same with them, and eventually we pitched a mad idea for a video game. And luckily Alex really liked it, and we
It is mad as well. It is. I've played games for, I've been alive 24 years, so probably about 21 years, and it genuinely every time I go into it, I can't believe the creativity of the game itself, and it is crazy, and I'm not surprised that they loved it, to be honest with you, because everyone's done a really good job.
And so, speaking of Alex, then, how much has he been involved with all of this? Did he help create the tasks? Was there any of that?
Someone I know got proper task training.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, so Alex has been so involved at every stage, but it's not just been Alex. So Taskmaster fans will have heard of the Andys, Andy D and Andy C, from the TM team, who have been amazing, but the wider team as well. basically, our design team and the rest of our team were given almost like a task design workshop from Alex and the Andes, telling us how they build stuff, how they think about things, but also, where they don't have rules and where they kind of leave things up to chance in the hope that, that natural human playfulness will come through and they'll get something really special. So that was really, really fascinating. But any tasks we've made have obviously gone through. Everything's been vetoed by Alex, and he's helped us, guide us. And really, we've combined our VR and video game knowledge with their knowledge of what can make a good task to hopefully create some tasks that, they might not necessarily work on the show because we can break rules.
We don't have to worry about things like food waste or,
health and safety guidelines.
Health and safety guidelines.
Cleanup time.
Keeping it all like, what is it, OSAHH, like guidelines. We don't have to worry about any of that. But, we can, apart from being in VR and like accidentally hitting your hand against a wall, that's the only thing we have to really worry about. But yeah, like everything else is at like the Taskmaster of like, if you can do it at home, we should be able to do in the video game, and that's kind of the basic vibe of what we went for, really.
Yeah, there's no going to space or anything like that yet. We'll see. But it's very, very true, I would like to think, to the Taskmaster experience. Authentic might be a better word.
Very authentic, I think, and there's a lot of, like, when I've been playing it, when I've been testing it, there's a lot of the panic that I imagine the contestants feel of running around trying to grab the items from the house and do everything like that. So yeah, I'd say it was pretty authentic, and the judging at the end is very authentic as well. Sometimes I have cried, sometimes I've been very happy.
We've been pretty lucky, I think, in that we might be skipping ahead here. We've been pretty lucky in that we've been able to go to the Taskmaster house, go to the studio, see how the sausage is made, the hairy sausage is made, if you like, as they call Alex. And when we've had an idea, we've been able to go to the house and try it out to see if it's a particularly stupid idea or if we think, oh, this could work, which is a nice little bonus I think a lot of game developers don't get. And that was really cool. Yeah,
it's been lovely to have the authentic sides of it and just be able to kind of get so involved and so close to it as well. And Alex and Greg have been brilliant, and the whole team's been brilliant, just letting us go around the house, letting us feel it out, letting us kind of bring, even though we've put it in VR, bring our VR game back out to life again.
That's amazing. Like, are there any your favourite Alex and Greg moments that you can share when you were capturing them for this and interacting with them at all?
That's
always a good sign when the people start laughing immediately when you ask a question like that.
There was one bit where I'm not going to spoil the task too much, but there was one where we done like a little VO session with Alex, and I believe there was like a bit at the end where we'd done all the lines, and Niall just comes in and goes, "Alex, can we get you to bark for a moment, please?" And Alex immediately is just like, "Yep."
Yeah, I was going to pick that one. I had him barking like a dog, and I've never felt
in the most
so
monotone
ridiculous.
voice ever.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah, that's my job. It's my job.
Sorry, my mic was muted there. Apologies. Excellent. So, are there any tasks from the TV show, or would you consider them as kind of a DLC kind of thing? Like, are we actually taking stuff from the TV series at all, or?
I mean, we'll never say never.
We'll definitely never say never with anything bringing.
Yeah, Alex was very keen that one of the things they're very proud of in Taskmaster, at least UK version, is they've never repeated anything. And one of the we talked about the task workshop he gave us earlier. One of his lines in the sand was, no one should know what to do going into our game. So all of our tasks are fully bespoke. They're all brand new for the game. That said, again, we'll probably get onto this in a little bit, but you can use creative mode to recreate tasks from the game. We've done that quite a bit in-house.
It's been everywhere. It's been, I think, a big learning curve. Is like, let's see if we can recreate like this task from this episode. But as Niall said, it's a very unique experience to you as a player, and kind of giving you, as I said before, like that. I'm on Taskmaster. You're not going to know what's going to come next, kind of experience.
This week, one of our team upstairs rebuilt the build a catapult to catapult a shoe into the bathtub task in creative mode, and I spent way too long playing that one. That was a good one.
That's the problem, I guess, when you're testing this game, is you just want to keep playing it for as long as possible.
A lot of people love just running around the house. You'd be surprised how many people love just exploring.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, what was I meant to do on the task again? And let me just go and pick the car back up. And I'm like, fair enough.
Absolutely. So, I guess speaking about the tasks themselves, without giving any of the spoilers kind of away, is there, so this is a question from Impressive Owl on Reddit, can you give us a hint as to what your favorite task is, so when we play it, we'll go, oh, this is the one that they loved, you know, this is the best one?
I'm going to say 2 words, and that is on guard.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice.
And Niall knows exactly what I'm on about.
Nice.
I do know that one. My favourite is set in the garage and involves a dog. You can pet the dog.
Yep.
Just in case, you know, anyone wants to let their Twitter account know.
So, Ezio Blades from the chat just asked, did you both get to work alongside Greg and Alex personally? You know,
Yeah, like extensively.
Yeah.
There's been Alex, you know, there's too much for him. You talk about like funny stories from working on the game.
Sweet.
You know, there was a moment when our artists were struggling to find pictures of his ears to try and make sure that we got the character model right. And, you know, I'd have to send him very weird emails and be like, hey, can we have some pictures of your ears? And, you know, 30 seconds later, I've got about 10 pictures of his ears from all angles that he's taken in the queue for a coffee. And it's just one of those, like, there's no ego for someone so, I think, a genius,
He's
right?
he is so sweet. When he came to the studio and we were doing the recording session, and he was just the most down-to-earth person you'd ever meet, and nothing was too much of him. Everything we asked, he was like so professional, and like he'd do 3 takes of a line, he'd be like, they all good? And he's so sweet. Nothing was ever too much for him, and he would just stand and have a conversation with you, and he looked at me dead in the eye and was like, we were talking about birthdays, and I was like, oh, I'm a leap year baby, and he just was like, don't trust leap year babies. And I was like, and I think that's the best thing that anyone's ever going to say to me in my entire life.
And Greg was very similar, you know. Greg, you know, when he came in for the voice recording sessions, was just so put us at ease so much. He's so like professional, but genuinely quite a nice and kind person.
Yes.
I don't know if that's like breaking character for him, but yeah, they were just so great to us as, you know, nerdy game developers who don't really know their world. They welcomed us, they helped us in it. Just nothing was too much trouble. It was probably one of the best parts of working on the game, actually. They made it so easy, and it could have been hard.
Getting to actually feel like you know them. You see them in VR, and then obviously you speak to them, and they are so nice, and they're so welcoming as well.
amazing. So Ezio Blades has also asked, can you explain how the scoring works in the game? Now, I think we'll get to that a little bit later. We've already got that as a question, but Jester from Reddit has asked a similar one, which is, are there multiple correct ways to handle a task?
The answer is yes. So you can, without spoiling too much, there are certain things that you can do that will still score you a good score. It may not be the same as what everyone else will do, but it will still get you a good score. There are also, again, without spoiling too much about the scoring and the judgment and all the sections, there are certain things that you can do which will give you a line of dialogue, basically just like we're having a conversation, like the judge on the show. And so, yeah, you might do something and Greg and Alex will comment on it, and your friend might not do it, they might not comment on it, but you might both still get the same amount of points because you've both done a good job at the task itself. So, in a nutshell, yes.
Yeah, essentially, without getting too into the like technical details,
Nitty-gritty of
because
it.
I don't understand them, the scoring kind of works in a layers system. So we obviously, it's easier, and in VR and a video game, we do lean more towards the, you know, they call it objective and subjective tasks in Taskmaster. We lean more towards the objective as our baseline. So, you know, fastest wins, furthest throw, biggest noise, whatever it ends up being. That's not in the game, just as an example. Please don't scream down your microphones to get extra points.
Don't hate your throats, please don't do that.
So we sort of have that, you know, that baseline thing, and what we've done is we've tried to work out as many of the possible ways that we think you might complete the task as we can, and then Greg and Alex will comment on if you did those things, which will affect your score. there is then an extra layer of subjectivity. So we have tried to bring in Greg's personal biases. So you may do very well, but if Greg thinks you've been cheeky and cheated, or he just doesn't like it, it will affect your score. You know, Taskmaster's not about getting the perfect score, it's about telling your story and doing your way of doing things. So hopefully we've managed to capture the majority of the ways to complete tasks. Most of them are very open, there are more than one way. The only thing I will say is something we're really hoping for is that you will find ways to complete our tasks within our physics systems and things like that that we haven't accounted for.
I'd love to see it.
Because that's very Taskmaster, and you'll send us, and then, you know, in a future update, we'll try and get some angry Greg to compensate for that. We're quite excited for you to break our game, basically.
Yeah, that's essentially what we need. We just need people to go in and be like, you know what? Let's see how to complete this in the most craziest way possible, and then see if you get a voice line. And then if you don't, tweet at us, and we'll be like, this is amazing. We might need to do like a showcase of like the most craziest ways people complete the levels. Never know.
Yep. So we've got another question from Twitter right now, from Red Tea House, and they've asked, what can you say about the soundtrack of the game? Will it feature familiar songs from the horn section?
I mean, this is an easy question to answer. The entire game is soundtracked like the show by Drew Musters. We have access to music from Taskmaster UK, primarily. But also most regional variations. We've had access to tracks from that. We may have used some of them, and there's a bunch of unused and like demo stuff as well that we were also licensed to use, and I think we've used a couple of those, but it's not the horn section explicitly, but it's a Drew Musters soundtrack, 100%.
Awesome. So, bringing it back to the TV series now, what's both your favorite task from the TV series, or if you don't have a favorite task, at least your favorite TV season from the series?
I like Series 7, but I'm a big James Acaster fan.
Right.
And the legacy of Taskmaster for James has been a continual source of joy for me. Yeah, Season 7 probably my favourite. In terms of favourite contestants, I really like the contestants who are hyper-competitive and throw themselves... but not like hyper-competitive and really good at it, like Dara O'Brien. More, you know, unhinged level, Tim Key and, you know, Ian Sterling. I like contestants like that a lot.
Taskmaster's one of them things for me that I'll always have on in the background, and then when something catches me, it'll really make me laugh. So the whole, I know it's a very famous like scene, but Joe Wilkinson with the potato really, really got to me, because I could just relate to that so much, because that is what I would do. I'd be so confident and be like, I've smashed this, like I've done it in, and then something would happen and they pull me up on it, and that to me is just so Taskmaster. And that is my favourite moment of all time. It's just the slight shoe on the red, and then just crawling along the floor, just be like, please, just give me the 5 point. Don't take it away from me.
Awesome. So, I think it's time for our first key giveaway, I think. Surprise, we're going to be giving away a copy of the game, or multiple copies of the game over the course of this live broadcast. The easiest way for us to do this is we're actually going to paste a Twitter link in the chat right now, and we're going to get you to comment something on that Twitter link. You don't have to do it immediately, but we will be drawing them maybe, I think either today, tomorrow, something like that, very, very soon. I'll paste in the link now, and I think, let's make sure this all works, I'm pretty sure Niall's going to choose the word. Niall, what word should we do?
Who's Niall?
Oh, sorry, Greg. Sorry, Greg. I'm so sorry.
Should we do Taskmaster?
I think we should do the word pineapple.
Pineapple. You heard it from Greg. So comment pineapple on that tweet in the chat right now. I'll paste it a few more times just so it comes through for you guys. Comment pineapple, and we will draw one copy of the game to be given away to one of you lucky folk from one of those comments. We'll DM you on Twitter as well and figure out if you want a Steam key or a Quest key. So amazing, cool. I think we should start getting on to the next section of this broadcast, which is going to be maybe a few little tours. I think we've been showing a bit of creative mode in the background right now, but I think we need to see a bit more of the house and a bit more of other things.
Let's go around
Sounds
the
good.
house.
I know.
I think we'll finally give Discord the tour of the kitchen
I
that they've
think
been
so.
asking me for
I
months.
think so.
Sorry, folks.
Firstly, though,
Here it is.
the main thing people have been asking is the shed always full with a random assortment of stuff? So we've got, live on stream right now, a shed tour.
Here's the shed.
Aren't you lucky? So is the shed full of a random assortment of stuff? No. The shed is generally filled with a fixed assortment of stuff, which is very similar to how it is on the show. However, in the game, occasionally we may, for specific tasks, remove things from the shed or add things.
We can remove things. Sometimes there's other stuff peppered in. There's some, as Niall said, like, not key, but something that might give you that little bit of an edge on a task that might be in the shed.
So the shed is very similar to the show. It's full of things that are helpful if you're very construction-minded. So there are boxes, there are planks of wood, there are pallets, there are real bricks, there are rubber bricks, just like in the show.
Yeah, there's all sorts, and there's all sorts you can do with them as well. Even if you don't build with them, you can grab stuff with them. There's a lot of times I've used that traffic cone to like pull something off of somewhere and like grab something without any spoilers. If I'm not allowed to grab something in true Taskmaster fashion, pull it down with something. There's my top hint and top trick for it. But yeah, anything is up for grabs in the shed that you could use.
Amazing, awesome. So, well, we've done a shed tour. I think we should do a full-on house tour.
All right, let's do this.
So. I'm going to start playing this lovely house tour. You guys can just let us know all of your favourite thoughts and favourite parts of it.
All right, so, we've fully modelled almost the majority of the whole house. It's full of Easter eggs. There's lots of little things in there. So we start at the top of the drive, and we couldn't not have Ollie the Knight, could we?
We had to include Ollie, of course we did.
And, it's slightly larger than in real life, but not much larger. But you can come down the drive and see a lot of the iconic Taskmaster bits and pieces. So there's the house.
Speaking of those bits and pieces, I will quickly just add, this may be going into a little bit of spoiler territory with some Taskmaster references. So if you're really wanting to keep spoiler free, my advice would be to not watch currently and come back in a few minutes.
Get out, come back.
Yeah.
We'll
So
be back.
we have the garage, which changes. This one does change depending on the task.
That is the way the random stuff comes into it. Is that the garage is quite changing quite a lot.
Just seeing in the chat, no, the gate doesn't open because we would have had to model a good chunk of London. We've done some of it. A lot of people ask me a lot, will we be able to see the planes flying over from Heathrow? Yes, you will. It's
Yes,
just
you
one on
can.
the stream there. Yeah, they only just fixed the garage, so...
There's a question that says, is the house modelled after any specific season of the show? It is not modelled after a specific season of the show, but again, spoilers in case you don't want to be spoiled. Our house, we got to make our own house theme. So our theme for this house is completely brand new.
And we'll see that shortly, I think, in the
We'll see
tour.
that shortly.
So the one everyone likes, the caravan.
Caravan's my favourite place.
Yeah, the caravan's nice. There's a lot of detail, a lot of references in the caravan. Our table's fixed. Butch hasn't broken it in our timeline. But the caravan's full of just little fun toys and things that our amazing art team have built for us. All the drawers open. There's stuff.
Again, there's stuff. So in that cupboard there, which opens, there's stuff in there that might be in one task and then might not be in another. There's my favourite item. There's the skull.
Everyone loves the puppets. And the alluring animal there as well.
And then we come out.
So where are we off
and
to next?
See where we're gonna go next. We're gonna go head straight for the dome.
We couldn't not have the dome. We love the dome. One thing you will notice, we don't have the covered wagon from the most recent series. That's because that's a bit too recent for us. So our shed is in the location that it is in previous seasons, we may play with that in the future. Let's see. So you can go into the backwoods where people chuck their keys and rescue Patatas and meet Linda.
Here's Linda.
Of course, Linda's in there. Linda is lovingly modelled. Linda, of course, is not a fake cow. Linda is a life-size model milking training cow with working udders.
She does have working udders. I believe she does have working udders.
So there's Linda with some more stuff. Obviously,
Please give Linda some love. I don't let anyone QA without giving Linda some love.
for those of you that might not know, that big net is because the Taskmaster house is next to a golf course and they have to have it up to stop your favourite comedians being murdered by golf ball.
Can't Have the Mango has asked, is there going to be puppet plushies?
Oh, I would love that.
That'd be good.
It would
wouldn't
be good. It would be nice.
No plans.
Or even
but,
Linda plushies, to be fair.
To be fair, I'd buy all of it.
I would, yeah. You,
I'd make a house.
I don't think anyone
out of
would be
all
able
the
to
plushies.
get access to them.
No merch plans to announce just yet, but that is a good
That's
idea,
such a
isn't
good
it?
idea.
So the stage is in. Tasks do take place on the stage. The shed, as you have already seen. Is Linda okay with the motion capture?
That got to me as well. Made in a very special suit.
She thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's very amusing.
I'm gonna leave this stream.
I wouldn't blame you. Fair.
Yeah, it's the shed again. You know, we've seen the shed. We love the shed. There's a lot of stuff that you can do in the shed, or maybe get some comments while you're in the shed from Alex. There's a lot of stuff that are just waiting to be discovered, really.
The shed. So I think we're into the living room next,
Straight to the
which is
living
where
room.
you will see
Maybe
the
not.
house. Oh,
Maybe not. Gotcha.
Caught us, Declan.
Yeah.
The old living room fake out.
Yeah.
Right, let's go into the hallway.
Doorbell.
Ring the doorbell.
Doorbell does work as well.
It
by
does
the way.
work. We don't have any audio for it right now, but it does work. It'll be in the game, don't worry.
Say hello to the Taskmaster. Clock in. Very important.
And this is where you'll start to see the sneak peek of the theme that we put together.
So the hallway's probably the biggest change we made to the actual house. It's probably about twice as wide as it is in real life. It just gave you massive VR sickness.
Yeah, you just have to be careful, especially in arms, the way people move. You got to give them room to move.
This is the toilet. Obviously, in case you've ever dreamed of seeing where the contestants go to the toilet in the Taskmaster house, now you too can go and explore.
The toilet flushes.
The toilet.
The toilet flushes.
The toilet does flush.
But
Nice little thing there. Doors open both ways, so for ease of navigation in the house in VR. So when you're charging around, we don't want you to get stuck behind a door. You can just shoulder barge your way through them.
I love all of these little portraits on the wall. I've spent so long going through them and just having a little look. Our team has put all of these together, and they are just generally. Oh yeah, it was a perfectly timed zoom. They are just genuinely so nice and cool to look at, and we all have a favourite one, I think.
They are recreations of actual pictures in the house as well. House is full of very lovely little details like that. Okay, so now we're in the living room. So our theme that we chose is California Dreamin', and we picked that because we wanted something really bright and colourful that they hadn't done before. And yeah, we really enjoyed getting to do this. It was a bit of a bucket list moment for a lot of us on the team. We have a canon Taskmaster house theme, the
This is
Pantheon of
ours.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, this is California Dreamin', and I think how bright this is as well really adds to the whole theme of the house and how bright it is in VR.
Yeah. So the secret drawer, not yet. Wink, wink. But there are lots of fun things we've been able to do. So I'm going to do a quote from Alex here, which is that that drawer bureau there. That's fake in the Taskmaster house. They're mostly painted on. But as Alex said, our real one is fake, but your fake one can be real. So there's a lot of elements of our house where we've built on top of what is there to give you more access. So it's the kitchen. There you go, Discord.
We're in the
I'm
kitchen.
sorry it took so long. The kitchen's full of food and cutlery and a working oven and all kinds of other
Working
nonsense
hobs, working
that we
hobs,
put in the game.
food, a mop. There's a mop in there. It's a little Easter egg in there as well.
Yeah, everyone I think has seen this one. It's a very cheeky one.
The kitchen is such a fun place to be. Even sometimes, if you can kind of get into the kitchen in a task, just go in because it's just amazing. The washing machine, all the dials work as well. You can move the dials around, just pretend to put the wash on. Why not?
So there are a couple of rooms that right now we don't give you access to. So there's the dressing room where the staff are, and there's a small office as well. We may open them up in the future, but they're not really used for tasks.
I was
So
gonna say, it'd be task
right
events,
now
wouldn't it?
they are locked.
But never know in the future.
Then everyone's favourite room, which is not where I used to think it was in the house, but this was a big surprise for me. We head into the lab. So the lab is using the show for messy tasks, for tasks where they don't want any real distractions for the contestants, and we use it in a very similar way.
I'd say our messiest tasks happen. Tasks happen in the lab. There's a lot of the lab is a good place to just really just kind of be and just let everything. It's a bit of a rage room.
It's a blank canvas, really,
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
And there's a lot of fun tasks that I'm thinking of in my head that just happen in the lab, which is really cool. And I hope everyone will enjoy it and just cause as much chaos as we have while we've been making it.
Yeah, and I think
that's it for
think
the
we're
house
done.
tour. Yeah, that is it for the house tour. Let me
Amazing.
chuck that off there. Fantastic. So, speaking of, back to the house a little bit, you mentioned a little bit about making the hallways twice as big. What was the process like in terms of scanning the house and going through that process? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
it was a lot of different ways to do it. We used a 360 scanning technology called a Matterport scanner. And essentially, we went down to the house and we 3D scanned the whole thing, and walked around our scan in VR to get a feel for it, like what feels right, what needed a bit more space. With the field of view of the VR headset, you can feel a little claustrophobic in some spaces, a little large, too large in others.
Yeah, 1000%. And there's a lot of before I started actually working on this game, I used to feel that I was going to get really, really sick in VR, and that massive space, small space, going from somewhere that's so small and then into somewhere where you feel okay can be quite whoa. So we had to really work at making sure everything flowed quite nicely, and everything was pretty much in proportion. And you do really feel even though it might not be as small and as narrow as it is in the real life, you do feel like you are actually able to walk around the house, which is what we wanted people to feel like.
Yeah, so we started with a 3D scan, and then we progressed to essentially what we call a white box layout of the house, where we played with how it felt, and then we kept tweaking that as we built tasks. It was like, oh, well, the kitchen needs to be a bit bigger for this task to work, things like that, until eventually we ended up with where we're at. And I mean, I think the house is a particular point of pride for us. It's super accurate despite being tweaked for VR.
Yeah.
And we've worked really hard on getting it right.
Amazing.
Just right.
Just right. So I guess there's going to be a lot of Taskmaster references in the actual house and in the game itself. I mean, is there even just a total number, roughly, of how many crazy, fun, awesome Taskmaster references? Must be in the thousands, I bet.
I mean, there's a lot of very specific ones. We've all seen Mike's Absolute Casserole now. The whole house is a reference.
One got shown before. I don't know whether anyone picked up on it.
There's my favourite is Up by Ollie, but that's a very deep cut one. I'm not sure anyone will get that one. But my problem is Mark and the art team keep adding them. There's always little updates. Every time I get a new build of the game, there's more.
We can't ever count them all because
Yeah.
Mark's just stuff one in there, it's dead shy.
Just don't ask me for a number. They're all quite well hidden as well. Some of them, I think we've talked about this on Discord, some of them require a bit of creative use of game mechanics to find as well. Yeah.
Don't try and break it too much, but we do encourage exploring. So.
And so, Noah mentioned his favourite Easter egg or reference in the game. Faye, what will be yours?
Mine
If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, Mine is right at the start, actually, to be honest with you. So in the first task, you should, if I'm placing myself right in VR, you should be able to look out the window and see it. I won't give too many spoilers away with that one.
I need to figure this one out. I actually don't know that one. That'd be amazing. I guess, just as a general question, what's been your favourite part of making the game so far?
I've got a really, I don't know whether you've seen this video. I think I sent it to you. But there's a bit where I was QAing, and when we put the animation, when Jamie got and everyone got the animations in, and there's a bit where I'm QAing and I'm going through the motions and I'm talking out loud and I'm like, yeah, so I've noticed in this task, and immediately it was the first time we had the Alex modelling, and the whole microphone just goes, and I'm like, oh my god, there he is, he's in the task, and then for 5 minutes afterwards I'm like, why do I feel that starstruck? I don't know what to. That was my the first time we seen Alex and the first time we seen Greg, and that they were like in the house and they were like, it was actually like I was there. That was my favourite moment, because I just remember feeling so excited that it was actually happening, and I thought, if we use this video for any marketing purposes, I'm sorry to any earphone users.
We're gonna have to find that now.
It's
I
so
think.
funny.
Yeah, I mean, mine's very similar. It was the first day that we had Alex and Greg's voiceover in the game.
Yes.
I remember walking in, and Alex is there and he's talking to me with Alex's voice, and the audio team had put in the music. Shout out to Nick and Will and Andrew, and it was just like huge, like almost like weight. It was like, oh, it's Taskmaster.
Oh, it happens.
It just felt, it was such a magical moment, like because you never know in game development. Sometimes stuff doesn't work, and that moment of like, oh, we're here. This feels like the show.
Yeah.
My favorite personal moment was getting to go and see the show filmed many times, probably more times than strictly needed. And it was then that the game felt like sitting in that audience at Pinewood Studios, and I was over the moon at that point.
We're so close to it as well, which is another thing to note, is that we as a team are so close to it, and we are looking at it constantly. So it's hard for us to kind of measure that, like, we're doing big steps every single day. The minute we had stuff like that in, like, we got the models in, we got the voice in, we got the music in, that was when we were like, this is Taskmaster. This is amazing.
Awesome. Eto's asked a quick question in the chat. So when it comes to tasks, will some of them have hidden, easy ways to complete them? Let's say written on the back of the task or under the table and so on, things like that. With no spoilers, of course, but
Always check under the table.
well, I mean, that's the best advice, I think.
Always check under the table.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to find.
I would say that yes, those exist, but we also want the game to last a decent amount of time for you. So we haven't gone as hard on it as they may in the show. But like, I would say if you know what you're doing, and you know a lot of our secrets, like, it's in there. It's in there.
If you think it, try it, and see if we put it in there. And like you said before, let us know if like you've done something crazy, and if you don't get a thing, we'll be like, oh, look at this person, look at this player, look what they've done. And if you have, and we do have something programmed for it, then you'll be like, we'll all be on the same wavelength. We'll all know.
Awesome. I guess one final funny little bonus question before we get into the next section of this lovely broadcast is there baked bean physics?
No, but there is frozen pea physics, which
Yes.
is superior, frankly.
There are frozen pea physics.
Yeah, better than the TV show. We got frozen peas.
Okay, let's do another key giveaway, I think, folks. So I'm going to paste this link in the chat right now, and it is to a tweet done by us. Should we go with Faye? Faye, what word should people comment on this tweet link for them to be entered into the giveaway?
As Alex Horn.
That's right, Alex Horn.
As Alex Horn.
Second time I've done this. Alex Horn.
I think people should comment, I love Greg Davies.
I love Greg Davies. Okay, you heard it there. So comment I love Greg Davies on this tweet in the chat. and we'll enter you in for a giveaway to win a copy of the game, and we'll choose whether or not it's Steam or Meta. Make sure your DMs are open, and we'll send you a DM to confirm all that stuff. Fantastic. Let's just check the chat super quick and see if there's any questions we've missed. People are asking a little bit about how are the points for objective tasks awarded, and they said, sorry, subjective tasks.
So we covered that
A little
slightly
bit, yeah.
before. It's a very similar setup. The sort of series mode of the game does focus more towards a subjective task, although the objective tasks. There are some subjective ones, and we've got very complicated little algorithms to do that. There's a lot of like pixel by pixel comparisons and things like that. But generally, subjective tasks are something that we would recommend creative mode for. And when you play with your friends and things like that, it's a lot easier to, give people tasks like draw the best picture of a horse, things like that. We've been like creative mode is designed for subjective tasks between you and your friends. Although, like I say, there are some
peppered in there.
in the core game.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay, we've got a few, maybe a little bit more quick-fire questions here that I think we'll go through, and a lot of it is going to be about just the technical side of things and accessibility as well, which is incredibly important here. So, what VR platforms will Taskmaster VR be launched on?
So we are on Meta, so we are on Quest 2 and Quest 3, and we are also going to be on Steam VR.
Fantastic. And I know a lot of people ask this, so is the game coming to PSVR?
Can't say anything yet. We've seen the demand, and
We hear
I
the
promise you we've seen and heard. I cannot confirm or deny anything just now.
Fantastic. Awesome. So, can you use Oculus headsets on PC or other headsets? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
can you only use, sorry, misread that. Can you only use Oculus headsets on PC, or can you use any variety of headset for the
Other headsets should work. Most headsets that are compatible with Steam VR should work. There's like with any PC game, there's a lot of different setups and a lot of different hardware out there. We're aiming to support as many as possible, Knuckles controllers, things like that. But I think it's the usual thing where if there's a specific setup we've missed, let us know, and we can add it to our list to help, support.
Amazing. Awesome. How much will the game cost?
The game will be $24.99. However, right now we have a little pre-order bonus. So if you pre-order it now, we are currently charging at $21.99.
10 to 12% pre-order discount, depending on your region. It's $21.99, $24.99 full price in UK, same dollars and euros, and then there will be regional variations of that. The discount amount will vary slightly between 10 and 12%, depending on your region. Such an exciting answer. And Steam will have a comparable launch discount as well at the same price, so you won't miss out because we don't have Steam pre-orders.
Amazing. There's a quick question from the chat, is from Burnt Breadman. Can you reveal roughly how many lines of dialogue was recorded for all of this?
Can we?
I don't know if we can reveal that.
It was a lot.
There was a lot. There was a lot of stuff that we recorded.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're going by lines, we have Alex counting every number from 1 to about, is it 78, something like that?
I think it's maybe 78, 70. I know it's 70.
Yeah.
Honestly, I need to listen to that backwards to put me to sleep. I think it'd be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds, possibly thousands.
There's big lines
Yeah.
and there's little lines, as Niall says, like 1, 2, 3. There's also huge lines of like proper dialogue, like we're talking now. So I don't know whether we can give an explicit number.
I don't know it, I think.
There's that many.
There's a lot. Nick would know it. Nick and Will would know it. Because they've listened to it multiple times.
Crazy.
But I don't know whether we can get an explicit number. There's a lot. I'll say that.
Gotcha. And we've had a few questions about creator mode in the chat, and we'll be moving on to that very, very shortly. But what I wanted to run through first was a lot of the accessibility features in the game. So I'm just going to put up a little bit of a video with the settings menu that you guys can have a look at, and feel free to go through all of the different things that we have on there. I know a lot of them are movement options, height management, grabbing, crouching, tunneling. You've done incredible work here so far. So let's talk a bit more about this.
Yeah, so, accessibility is important to us. Always has been. We have an accessibility by design ethos in our studio. We're a staunch supporter of charities like Special Effect, Safe in Our World, things like that. So wherever possible, we've included as many different accessibility features as we can. Although I will say this is our first attempt at this. So
yeah, we had a lot of input from a lot of accessibility champions. But this is still definitely our first pass of it. So if there's anything that anyone notices while they're playing the game that they think would be a massive help, definitely send it in, add it to our list.
This is an open. We've said this a lot, but join our Discord, tell us stuff. We're very, very open to talking with folks and making improvements. But I saw a few questions in the chat before. So in terms of basic movement, there is continuous movement, there is teleport-based movement, and then you can do continuous turning or snap turning. We have vignetting on those to help you.
And blinking as well.
Yeah, for blinking, just in case you need those features. There is a reach assist, so I have to be careful I'm allowed to say this, like a force grab type thing. For those with more, arm mobility issues or things like that, you can change the angle of the snap turn, you can change the speed. There are things like there's a crouch button in the game. There's not a jump button, is there?
There's not a jump. We've got a run.
There is a run now.
We've got run. We've got crouch. You can also play standing or seated as well. The game will automatically calibrate your height based on where you're looking with your head. So you can play standing, you can play sitting. It's whatever's most comfortable for you. And a lot of the tasks have been, as we say, they've been gone over with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that no matter how you're playing, they should be, at the very least, winnable in a certain way. Yeah,
so there's a few more on the stream here. So, the difference between hold to grip or toggle grip, it's a very simple thing, but for anyone with, chronic pain or things like that.
Say, if you suffer with joint pain, or if your joints lock up, it's easier to tap rather than hold.
A nice one there that's on stream where it says forward movement. So basically you can change the continuous movement to either use your head orientation or your controller orientation. So if you have limited body movement, by using controller orientation, you can get a much wider range of movements through just using your hands to help direct the character controller and not having to use your body or your head and things like that. That's a really nice one. That it's a little bit more niche, but for folks who need something like that, it's, I think, a bit of a game changer for being able to play, a quite heavily movement-based VR game like this.
1,000%, and even down to stuff like the controller you use to turn and the controller you use to walk. I didn't realize this until we started making this game, that I automatically assume that one side is going to be to turn and one side is going to be to walk. You can change that. You can change the kind of how that bit of the controller is mapped, whether you are walking or teleporting with your left or right hand, and whether you're snap turning or smooth turning with your left and right hand. And we have a watch as well to keep on any task time, or in some tasks, not spoiling anything. Sometimes it's the real time in the game. And rather than, if you can't move down, you can bring your arm up to see what the task time is as well, which is a lot easier.
There are a few other things we're showing here, which is really nice. So subtitles, obviously, subtitles have been designed, with backgrounds on them. There are Greg and Alex heads, so you can differentiate who's speaking. The menu itself that you're seeing here, you see there's a control to change its distance from your face. There's a map. I don't think we show the map in this video, but there is a little map of the house that you can use. Just generally, we've tried to add as many, you can change volume, music volume, dialogue volume, sound effect volume separately. You can adjust your height ever so slightly if you wish. There's a lot of options. The thing about accessibility is that you're never finished. There's always more you can do. So just to reiterate, as you folks get to play the game, if there's something you feel you need or something that's not being accommodated for, we want to hear it, and we want to look into how we can do that for you.
We wouldn't want to sit and say it's done, it's sorted, we've done everything we can, because we know that you know, people, we're all different. So there's everything. We can always do something else. So please reach out to us in Discord, give us a tweet. We're always open. We're always, willing to hear anything that anyone's got, and we'll look into it.
Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, that's a really, really good rundown of all those settings. That's brilliant. I guess to transition a bit to another question, it'll be, why the choice of this lovely art style in this game? You know, was there ever a different style? Did you guys iterate on it quite a bit? Tell us a bit more about that.
I mean, we explored a lot of styles, but for us, it was about making a space that was really welcoming. So Faye touched on it earlier. You know, the whole core ethos of this is kind of like, it's a love letter to Taskmaster. We want fans who, you know, I've always wanted to go, I've always wanted to be there. We wanted it to feel like somewhere where you step onto that gravel driveway and...
Oh my god, I'm there.
Yeah, you want... But it's like... It's saying, come on in. It's not oppressive, it's not scary. Because there's, you know, people talk about, you know, Greg is scary sometimes.
How mean and how...
But he's also, you know, he's a loving tyrant.
Yeah. He's lovely, do you know what I mean? He might kind of bully you, but you know, we want you to come in, we want you to feel that, and yeah, we want people to enjoy, even down to when I first joined, and I was very new to Taskmaster. I was very like, oh, I don't know, it's never really been something that I've ever watched, and then I started watching it, and then I started playing the game. And you can play this game and immediately feel welcome to a world you might not be 1,000% familiar with, and discover something completely new, because it's not, we haven't designed it to be, as you say, like that, like Dalton, like you've got to know everything and you've got to do this and you better be good at these tasks. It's welcoming, it's nice, it's going to be a nice world. Can we describe it as a world?
Yeah, it's a world of Taskmaster.
It's the world of Taskmaster. It's welcoming, it's warm, it's nice, it's very bright as well. So, you know, you can look up at that VR sun and pretend to be outside, even if you take it off and it's raining outside. You can, you know, it's very warm and nice and welcoming. So, yeah. That was I think that was the root of the art style that we kind of wanted to go down. And then with Alex and Greg, I think we wanted to kind of, I don't know whether you agree with this, Niall, I think that we kind of wanted to be as dramatic as possible, but still keep it close to like who they are as people. So like little Alex Horn. And then if you notice, I don't know whether you've actually seen this anywhere, so I'm not going to spoil it too much. There are certain features around the shoe area that are very true to the show. I'm going to put that out there. Interesting.
I don't know what you mean. I'm going to have to put a headset on after this.
They change quite, there's stuff that changes quite a lot, that, you know, you'll notice there's ways in the way that they sit or the way that they stand, that's very true to how I think they are and how they act. They're slightly dramatized, and especially like there's a lot of dramatics about Greg. Greg is very like, everyone knows Greg Davis is a big man, and then we've made him even bigger in VR, you know, I think we've done a good job. I think the 3D team as well done an especially good job at like moulding it all and building it all, bringing them all to life as well. That's exactly what it is, just bringing it to life.
Brilliant.
I wanted to give it life.
Yep, amazing. So Daniel Romero has asked in the chat, is there an option for a third camera view for recording purposes?
Not for launch, but it is something we're interested in and we're looking into. We're also looking into things like LIV integration and stuff like that. But for launch, no, there is not.
Brilliant. Gotcha. Cool. So if you guys have any other questions, by the way, please keep pasting them in the chat. Feel free to join our Discord as well, where we will be answering questions for as long as we possibly can for the next 10, 15, 20 years, I imagine, on that Discord. So you're more than welcome to ask there. And we've got a fantastic community there of fantastic Taskmaster fans. So I guess moving on to more content, what's the plan content-wise post-launch? You know, will there be more tasks, or we'll get into creative mode shortly? I think we're talking about potentially more items, something like that. Are there any plans we can sort of announce, or not announce, but allude to?
We are going to be we want to be really community-led on that. So we're launching with like, let's call it the the menu of all the different ways of playing Taskmaster. You know, you have your series mode, you have creative mode, and really we want to be led by the community on, well, what do you enjoy? What do you want more from us of? That's right, grammatically. You know, so creative mode, there's been a few questions in chat. You know, we're really interested particularly in expanding the ability to share your tasks outside of local play. There's some headaches with that legally and morally and all that kind of thing, but it's something we're really excited to do, as well as, you know, look at how people are building tasks and maybe giving them more access to some of the tools that we've built. We've got some really fun stuff that hasn't quite made it into the base game that is pretty exciting. But it really depends on what people want, what people use the mode for, and things like that, which will help us dictate our roadmap post-launch.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to. It's okay. We've been doing this for 2 years, and we can, as I mentioned before, we're so close to it, and now we're kind of giving everyone this gift and being like, here's what we've made. What can you make of it? And then, you know, let's see what everyone says. Let's see what everyone wants, and let's see what's possible.
Awesome, fantastic. Right, what I'm doing, we just mentioned that the Discord, it seems to be the link doesn't seem to be working from the looks of it, but I've actually got the Steam store page here. So there's a link for you guys to click. Potentially you can find the Discord on the Steam store page, right? Is that on
It
there?
should be a big banner right on the Steam page.
Brilliant. So have a look there. And I think there's a lot of extra content on the Steam store page, isn't there, in the form of like developer posts and stuff. Really, really interesting stuff there that we've covered sort of a little bit here, but there's even more detail, I think, on those posts. So Niall's been taking care of that and really putting his heart and soul into those. So they are pretty fantastic. Right, I think it's time for one last key giveaway, I think, today. And then we'll be moving on to our final section of this broadcast. So, I am going to paste a link in the chat right now, which is linked to a tweet. If you guys wouldn't mind, Greg or Alex, who are sitting in front of me right now, Greg or Alex, what word should they post or comment on that tweet?
Can we say it at the same time?
Let's say it at the same time. You should comment. 3,
2,
1.
1.
Little Alex Horn!
There we go, Little Alex Horn. Okay, so comment Little Alex Horn on that tweet, and we'll enter you in for a giveaway to win a copy of Taskmaster VR. And we'll contact you via Twitter DMs, so make sure they're open, and we can ask if you want a Steam copy or a Quest copy. Right, it's on to our final section of this broadcast, I think, folks. And I guess we're gonna be talking about creative mode, which is a very large part of the game. And as you've been seeing and watching the gameplay footage behind us, that's been most of the gameplay footage that we've been showing. What is creative mode in one sentence?
Playground. Playground. You got one word.
I mean,
not
yeah,
one
that's one
sentence.
word.
You got one word. Yeah, I'd literally just say task playground.
Yep, you get access to a tablet. You can spawn in any items you want. You build a task. You set a start point. And you save it out, and then can challenge your friends to complete your task locally.
Awesome, awesome. Well, for those that haven't seen it, we're going to run the creative mode trailer right now. So, pay attention.
Ah, there you are, my new, smaller, and less important assistant. The Taskmaster needs lots of new tasks. Let's hope you're up to it.
Taskmaster VR.
Wishlist now,
Please.
please.
Alrighty, so that was the creative mode trailer. If you haven't watched it already, it's been out for a short while, but you know it's been out for a little while. I guess we can move into, we've sort of discussed the general gameplay loop, and And if there's any questions you guys have about creative mode in the chat, feel free to ask. You know, we'll go into it. I guess one of the main ones that people really want to know is how many items are there that you can play with in creative mode. And I have an extra little video here we can show in the background. If I can find it, there we go. Creative mode items. So feel free to go into the types of items you can use and how many there are.
So there's hundreds.
It's in the hundred. It's up in the many hundreds.
The total amount of interactive items in the game is north of 700. Not all of them are super appropriate for creative mode. We may bring them in later, but there are hundreds of items available. Essentially, you're given Alex's tablet, and you can sort items by size, by theme, by usage, and you select them, you spawn them. And then you also have a series of tools that will allow you to reposition them, resize them. Oh no, resize isn't in yet. Oh, spoilers. And just basically, build anything you like with a lot of things. So you can sort of see on the stream behind us here, anything from toilet brushes to toilet rolls to food items.
Wheels.
Tires, they're always fun. The giant fan.
The puppets.
Puppets are in.
The
puppets are in there.
Puppets are in there. Yeah, there's a lot that you can do with it, especially, and even if there's something that you might spot in the main game that might not be in creative mode yet, you could potentially try and recreate it. You never know. For example, if there's like a box that you want, like, that's a perfect size for the level I want to make, and it's not in creative mode for whatever reason, whether it's being just being very appropriate to put into creative mode, or we decide to give it a little bit of a challenge. Recreate that box, make something. There's that many items in the game. You can literally make anything. And I made a ramp once out of a guitar and no spoilers, and a trombone, and I'll be honest with you, it worked great. So
we've made beer pong, we've made catapults, we've recreated the trench run from Star Wars. Yeah, the sky's the limit, really. We've seen people use all of our TikTok content, all of our like silly videos that the amazing marketing team put out, they're all made directly with creative modes. We only use the in-game tools to make content, for our trailers and things like that.
Yeah,
it's really fun, very versatile.
Awesome. I mean, what is your favorite item in the game then, from all of those different items?
Mine is, and I hope this isn't too many like spoilers, I'm not going to say why it is. Mine is the record player in the living room, because I didn't realise that it was functional.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave that there.
I like the bin robot.
Two very different things there.
Just because bin robot?
Yeah.
Because why not?
Awesome. I mean, so we've had another question from chat of people asking whether you can add custom items into the game.
So there's no... I've seen those questions, about avatars and things like that. So initially, no. Though stuff like that can be tricky with licensed games. However, workshop support is something I like and am somewhat keen on. Creative mode is our way of giving you access to tools like that without, causing us huge amounts of headaches. But it's certainly not something I would ever say no to. It's something we're very keen on exploring further in the future.
Awesome, brilliant. Right, what have we got here? So, I guess in terms of these creative mode tasks that you're making, I mean, can you create tasks in every single room of the whole house that's available in the game?
Yeah,
of course you can.
Of course. I mean, yeah, it's a simple question, but it's kind of, it makes sense, right? Yeah.
Whenever you want to create a task, you go there, you do it.
Awesome. So, are there any silly example tasks that you can think of off the top of your head that you first went to when you were experimenting with creative mode?
I mean, everyone tries to do potato in hole, don't they?
Everyone tries to do potato in hole.
It's a good one.
It's a classic.
Can't go wrong.
I remember just thinking, I don't know why I started thinking this. I was like, I'm going to do everything with musical instruments. And I remember just making this ramp out of musical instruments. And I was like, I was like, this is it. I am Alex Horn. I'm sorted. It's all sorted. And I was made up. And I think it was something to do with like trying to make the longest like working sort of ramp that I could out of musical instruments. And then that was it.
I think one of the earliest ones I made was nearly a main game task, but it wasn't quite in depth enough. But it was get as many unbroken eggs as you can in the toilet. Highest number of unbroken eggs wins, and I spent several hours just hiding eggs around the house in the most precarious of places. So you'd open cupboards and you'd just get a load of eggs spill out onto you and they'd smash everywhere. I enjoyed that one because it let me channel my inner troll.
Amazing, awesome. I guess there's a question about licensing here, which I don't know if we can fully answer or not, but we've spoken about this being a licensed game. Does this mean that Channel 4 is involved, or have we licensed from Alex and Greg? Is there anything we can sort of say about that at all?
Avalon are the production company. Taskmaster is owned and created by Alex Horn and is a Avalon product, and they've been an amazing partner for us the whole way through. Channel 4, no direct involvement, but, they are part and parcel of our world, our story.
Awesome, cool. Are there any more planned features for creative mode post-launch that we can sort of talk about today? Potentially even more items, or is there stuff coming basically for creative mode?
We've got a lot of ideas.
There's a lot of stuff being explored and spoken about.
There's probably about 10 additional features that are out there. But again, it's about, we need them to be the right ones. We don't just want to bloat it for no reason. We want people to get the features that they need and the additional stuff. But yeah, more items, more locations. I see someone in the chat asking that. More tools to help you set up tasks differently. That's all I'll say on that one. Nearly ruined one before, yeah. But there's more, than that. And yeah, it's really, we want to be quite community led. We're very interested to see what people want.
Yep.
Yeah. Just saying exactly what we said before. If there's something in there that you think this would be amazing, just reach out. It's exactly what we want. We're not a team that only specifically goes, this is what we want and this is what's happening. The entire team, even if it's not been, you'll agree with this, Niall, even if they've not been dev, art, explicitly QA, everyone has been involved in this and everyone's had a hand in saying, I like this wouldn't be what I would use, this would be what I would use. Everyone has had, and we want to extend that to the people who want to get involved with the community as well.
Awesome. Well, I think that mostly covers creative mode. Do we have any other questions in the chat? Please feel free to answer them again. I know we've potentially missed a few. We do apologize. Please ask them now, and we'll go through and see how much time we have left to answer a few of them. And I guess that's just while we're wrapping up as well. So basically, if you guys want to support the game, please feel free to wishlist on Steam and Meta to show your support. If you go to our... Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. I can post these links directly in the chat now. So here's our meta link right now where you can check out our game, along with the Steam store link as well. It's available to pre-order right now, so please go ahead if you're interested. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials. You can find a lot of it on our Twitter already, which I've posted the link a good few times. Let me get that link to the tweet one last time. You can find our Twitter, and I keep saying Twitter as well. It is X. I know I've said Twitter about 10,000 times. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm old. I just can't help it. So
it's Twitter in our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let's go through a few of these. So, do we know if there is a prize task at all?
We talked about this. Yeah. I think someone's answered. We talked about it a bit on Discord. So, for a while, we did have one, but it wasn't a great gameplay experience. So the way that I try and describe Taskmaster VR to folks is this is an adaptation of Taskmaster. Mm-hmm. So in the same way that the board game or the game book or the app is not a one-to-one recreation, we have made, where appropriate, changes to the format in order to create a better video game experience. So generally we want to make sure that you're playing a video game at all times, not, say, watching an NPC play a video game, and that anywhere where the experience just isn't where we wanted it to be or to the quality we wanted, we've moved away from that element. However, that isn't, I say this a lot, we never say never. In the future, if we can find a way to implement stuff we love, like prize tasks, in the right way, we'd love to do that for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Let's see. I guess it's a long way off, but in theory, could you guys add the New Zealand house, the Australian house at all?
It's a ranch, isn't it?
It's a ranch, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so technically they are different licenses. I would say it's something we would love to do in the future, but I definitely can't be drawn on that right now.
We can't make promises, but again, we can add it to the list. We can see the intricacies of it. I like the idea of a ranch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Paul Williams in particular, so yeah, we'd love to do something like that, and it's on our radar. We've seen the demands for sure.
Amazing. Can you do creative tasks in the studio environment?
Not yet, but it's a very good idea.
Okay. Do we have any more questions in the chat? This is your last chance. Otherwise, what we highly recommend doing is joining our Discord, and you can find a link to it on our Steam store page right here. You can join the Discord. We are answering questions constantly on there, and we've got a fantastic community of Taskmaster and Taskmaster VR fans who are just an absolutely incredible bunch. So if you have any questions and you wanted to hang out there and get an even a 9 p.m. response, I'm sure Niall might be able to answer it. Midnight potentially every so often.
Depends when the kids go to bed.
Of course, yeah. Cody's asking full body tracking support.
No, not for launch.
Not for launch.
It is something we're a technology first company, so we look into those things initially because we're multi-platform, and there are potentially other platforms we may look at in the future. Our feature set has been fairly platform agnostic.
Okay. Will you consider adding a wiring/circuit system to the game? Jake has asked.
Taskmaster Redstone. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I won't be drawn on that. I refuse to answer that question.
Amazing. Right, I think that's all of the questions that we have, and I think we've covered pretty much everything in the chat and whatnot. As I said, guys, if you have any other questions, please ask them on the Discord or on the Twitter or on anywhere else. I think that's it. I think we're done for this excellent stream. Would you guys like to see more streams like this? Is this something you guys are interested in? And is there any other types of content that you'd like to see? Please let us know on the Discord or on Twitter. We'd love to do that. We'd love just to make the fans happy. Is what we want to do. So fantastic. Right. I think that's it. Niall and Faye, let's say goodbye. Bye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Fantastic. All right. See you around, folks. Bye-bye.